Hey guys, how's it going? We are going to be starting up some more dahlias today. I recently came back from the Northwest Flower and Garden Show, and when I was up there, my plan was to not buy anything, and I bought all these dahlias. And so, I need to get them potted up today because I want them to be pre-sprouted and ready to go in my garden. And I bought some beautiful, beautiful dahlias. These are all from Dan's Dahlias. And then I bought this here. This is an Oriental lily pad bulbs is who I bought this from, but all the dahlias are from Dan's Dahlias. And he specializes in dahlias and has the most gorgeous dahlia selection. The reason that I didn't order any dahlias online was because I didn't want to pay higher prices and pay the shipping cost. And then I saw dahlias at the Northwest Flower and Garden Show, and I was like, okay, I'll pick up a couple. And I picked up 6. And then one of you guys is actually sending me one that I really wanted, which is the Cafe au lait, and I'm very excited to get that one and get that one growing in my garden. When I went to go buy these ones, he was sold out of the Cafe au lait, so I didn't grab one, which worked out perfectly. So let's go over what I have today. We're also going to start some seeds. So first one I have is the Summit Festival. This was a $15 tuber, and these are all going to be tubers that I'm going to just leave in the ground because we can leave them in the ground here. Creme de Cassis, and this one already has some sprouts coming on it. And then I did Platinum Blonde, and then I also did the More Place. This one I'm really excited about. This is a like water lily type. This is the Chimicum Kathleen. And then also the Fifi. And I did kind of a variety of colors. So I've got oranges and reds and pinks and whites. The one that I'm most excited about is the Creme de Cassis. This is the one that I'm most excited about. This is the like water lily type. And the colors on it are just absolutely stunning. And then I also picked up a double Oriental lily. This is the Anuska, and I love Oriental lilies. These ones I'm going to plant in the landscape today, but I just had to show you guys them. They're just so pretty. When I saw a double Oriental lily, I was like sold on that. I also am going to be doing some purple bellvine today, and this I am so inspired by Erin from The Impatient Gardener. She grew this I think like 2 years ago and last year, and she's growing it again this year. And when I saw it on her garden, I was like, I need to grow that. It's so stunning. It's got the heart-shaped leaves like morning glories do, and then it's got trumpet-like flowers. And so I picked these up from Select Seeds, and then I picked up some Scabiosa Salmon Queen, Lavender Lady Gomfrina, Lace Flower. This is the Lace Pink. And then I picked up some Fata Morgana Scabiosa. And then some Amaranth. This is the Oshberg, I think is how you say it. So we've got lots of things that we're starting today. So all of my seeds I'm going to be starting in the 4 cells from Bootstrap Farmer. They are sponsoring today's video, so thank you to Bootstrap for sponsoring today's video. These are the 4 cells. I love these. These are what I start all of my seeds in. I also have the 6 cells, which work for me in a pinch, but these ones make it so I don't have to water nearly as often because I'm terrible about watering. And then everything's going to go into these trays right here. These are the 10-20 trays. And then all of my dahlias, I'm going to be starting into these larger containers. And I just put 1 dahlia in here, 1 tuber per container. I have 6 dahlias, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 colors. So somebody's going to get a repeat color, but I think I'll do 1 of each color plus maybe an extra of the blue because I like the blue color. And then as far as seeds go, I'm probably going to be starting 4 of the Amaranth, 4 of the Scabiosa. I should probably start more of this Lace Flower. We'll do 4 of the Lace Flower. 4 of the Gomfrina. I guess we're doing just orange seed trays. 4 more of the other Scabiosa. And 4 of the Bellflower. And we're going very orange, I guess. So I've got all my trays. So these are the 5-inch, and then I've got the 4 cells. So 5-inch trays and 4 cell trays. So let's fill up with dirt. I'm going to be using the Fox Farms Ocean Forest. I've got like a million videos on doing exactly what I'm doing today. Seed starting, I always try to label everything. I go with a, this is the Artline Garden marker. I will put in the link down below, or you can just search it on Amazon. And then I just go in with these plastic plant tags. Also, if you hear my chickens in the background, I'm sorry, they're laying eggs. I forgot my other plan today was I have some Coleus, and I want to take 3 of them, and I want to turn them into a topiary. So we're gonna do that today. I tried to do this last year, and I definitely used the wrong Coleus for that. And so we're gonna try again this year. These are my Coleus. These came from my grandmother, and I'm going to take 3 of them and turn them into topiary today. So they are losing their leaves because they've been in water way too long. They're not happy about it. I've left them in there for a ridiculous amount of time. But I'm going to come through and kind of try to divide these the best that I can. I will do it when we get closer to it, but look at all these roots. So the plan is to then take one of these stems here, put it in soil, and I'm going to keep it limbed up like this. I'm probably going to come in and continue to just pop all of these leaves off until I get it to a height that I want it to. And then I'm going to pinch the top of this plant right here. And when I pinch it, that's going to start encouraging branching. And so the plan is to get this to be just kind of like a topiary of a Coleus. So I want it to be nice and long stem. I'll go in with some bamboo stakes, tie it to that, and then I will cut it and branch it. And the goal is to have a beautiful Coleus topiary. Last year I tried to do this, and it was definitely a failed experience. It was definitely a failed experiment. I used a Coleus that just got way too big and didn't branch well. This one my grandmother had, and she had, I think, 1 plant in the container, and it branched and it filled out. It was a massive plant, but it branched and it filled out. And so I'm hoping this one, I'll be able to take it and I'll just be able to continue to cut on it and cut on it and cut on it and get it to be a very full plant. So Coleus topiary is the other plant today. So it's kind of an exciting day because we're going to try the experiment one more time, and we're going to get all of these dahlias potted up, and I'm very excited about it. So I'm going to make my plant tags really quickly, and then we will get to potting up. As far as it goes for starting seeds, it's really straightforward. It's basically fill your trays up with some soil, pop your seeds in there, and they're good to go. I'm not going to be starting too many things because I have a lot of plants that I've ordered online and a lot more things that are coming, and I want to make sure that I have plenty enough space. So I'm trying to limit myself on how much I actually start. I just think that's probably the smartest option, but you know. And then I ordered from a place called Select Seeds. I've never ordered from them before, and from Baker Creek for all of these. So for the scabiosa, I just very, very lightly push it into the soil, not covering it too much. If you want to go in with a little bit of vermiculite, you can always do that. Scabiosa does well with a little bit of light to help germinate. If you cover it too much, it'll still germinate, but the success rate definitely goes down quite a bit. So for the gomphrena, I'm pretty far behind. These really should have been sown a very, very long time ago, but you know, it is what it is. These just very, very lightly covered. The rule of thumb is twice the depth of the seed. So these seeds are teeny tiny, so we're barely going to cover them. The amaranth, we're barely going to cover this. And amaranth is one that actually self-seeds pretty nicely too. You want to take these after any last frost that you've got and just sprinkle them onto the landscape. Totally works. And all of these are going to go under grow lights inside my house, and they're going to go with a humidity dome until every single one of these has seeds that have popped up in them. Okay, so this is a lace flower, and lace flower is actually it's like a carrot. And so this is one that really does do best with being direct sown. If you plant these ones in your seed trays like I'm doing, and then you move them because they've gotten too big, they usually won't do very well. They don't do well with root disturbance. So this one I'm kind of just taking a chance on, but I really want to get these in now. And then this bellflower vine, it requires light to germinate, and it says to sow it 8 to 10 weeks before your last frost. And my last frost has already passed. So technically I'm a day late and $1 short on these guys, but we're still going to do them because I have such a long growing season. And then we're not going to cover these. I really probably only need like 2 of these plants. So sowing 4 of them, well, I'm actually going to do 8 because I'm doing 2 seeds per cell. It's a little bit overkill, but I really, really want to grow this vine. I saw it, like I said, 3 years ago from Aaron's garden, and it was stunning. So the goal is to get at least 1 this year. That's the plan. Okay, seeds are all sown. Let's move on to the Coleus really quick. So we're going to come through. These have just been sitting in a windowsill. So these were started, I think, sometime in like November. And I just literally took cuttings from my grandmother's plant and shoved them in some water. So now I gotta untangle these. And we're gonna pop them just in the soil. So there's one. I'm trying to find the straightest ones. Like that one's got a curve to it, so we really don't want to use that. This one has kind of a super gnarly curve, so we don't want that. This one's straight, but this one is definitely the straightest. So these ones I'm gonna actually just pop back into the water here, and these will go back in the windowsill. These ones, my plan is to take cuttings from these ones and then propagate these ones, and I will put these ones in little 4 cells like this, and then I can have a whole bunch of Coleus from it. So they propagate very, very easily. So this is pretty straight. I need to go get some bamboo stakes and then some twine, but we're gonna come through, put these guys all the way in here, as deep as we can get that, and then backfill with some soil. So it's got this little bit of like branching that's already happening down low. So I'm gonna come in and just pop all of those off. And I think I'm gonna pop 2 more of these leaves off on the side here. I want it to really get nice and tall. I want it to be at minimum this tall. And then what we'll start doing is as it gets a little bit taller, I'm gonna come through and I'm gonna pinch the top off of it. I'll show you guys on this one because this one, it's about the same height, but it's already got some weird curves happening to it. Did I grab the wrong one? See, we don't want the weird curves happening to it because that's not going to be a pretty plant at all. And then I'm gonna change that water out. We're not gonna just leave dirt in there. So with this one, there's branching happening down below. Pop that branching off. There's some roots happening very high up on this plant. There we go. Pop off all of these lower leaves that I don't want. So you can see all of these leaves are actually pretty high. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come through and I'm gonna pop off the top off of this, just like that. And that's going to encourage branching anywhere that there are leaves on this plant. And we're gonna go ahead and fill it up with some soil. And then this should start branching out very, very soon. And it'll start creating that topiary. And anytime it branches out, when there's a set of leaves, I'm gonna come through and I'm gonna pinch the set of leaves. So that way it just branches and branches and branches and gets nice and full. And the plan is to keep it very compact so that it branches really, really tightly. And then I'll have support on this, so then it's basically just like a little topiary of a Coleus. And this isn't gonna come out outside until we have 0 danger of any frost, because Coleus really don't like to get cold at all. So if they get cold, they end up dying. And so that's the opposite of what we would like to have happen with these guys. So these guys will go under grow lights until I know that there's 0 danger of any frost. But I'm very excited to try my hand again at Coleus topiary. And like I said, I'll go in with 2 bamboo stakes. I'll put 1 on each, and then I'll tie it to it so that way these stay nice and straight on here and it works out any of those little bends that it's already starting to get. And then eventually all of this should start to really harden up and it won't be green anymore. It'll kind of almost have a bark-like texture to it. And that's basically going to be our trunk. So Coleus topiary in the making. Hopefully I get it right this year. So with the dahlias, I filled these up halfway. And I'm going to fill them up all of the way. I just wanted to be able to plant these in here and be able to fully cover the plants or the tubers themselves. So I have a whole video about dahlias. And they're so straightforward. And you can take cuttings from dahlias. They just grow so nicely. So Dan, who owns this Dahlia farm, does a fabulous job. He takes a lot of pride in his dahlias. So these ones are all very, very firm. If you're looking for dahlias in big box stores, you want to kind of squeeze them. And if they're mushy at all, even in the slightest, don't buy them. So dahlias have to have 3 main components. They have to have your body, which is this. They have to have a neck, which is this section here. And then they also have to have an eye, which is these little guys right here. And I'll show you guys a close up on another one also. So it's got to have your eye, your neck, and your body all right here. So those are the 3 main components for your dahlias. If it doesn't have the eye, it will not grow. It really could it'd be fine if it even had half of its body. I've seen them grow from that, but the full body is definitely your best. So you have to have all 3 of those. If you're buying from big box stores, it's very important to check and make sure that that's what you're getting in those little bags. They sell them usually in bags and they'll say 2 tubers and you'll get a huge clump of dahlia. And when you're getting your huge clumps, they're basically just guaranteeing that you're going to get at least 2 tubers from those clumps. Sometimes you'll get more, but you should at minimum be able to get at least 2. The way that they harvest them, they use big machinery, and the big machinery tends to break a lot of the necks on the dahlias. And if the neck is broken, they won't grow. So I'm in a growing zone 9A, Northern California, and dahlias actually winter over for me beautifully in the ground. So I can leave these in the ground. If you're in a colder zone, you need to dig your dahlias in the winter time, and you have to store them. You can store them in like wood shavings like this, and you need to store them somewhere where it's not too dry, but also not too wet. And there's all kinds of like things that you have to do, and it's kind of frustrating. So I'm very lucky that I'm in a growing zone 9A and I can just leave them in the ground. I do need to occasionally dig them up and divide them, but for the most part, I can totally just leave them. So while this is giving me a head start on my dahlias, I don't have to 100% be worried about them being the necks and the eyes and everything being fully covered. But when I go to plant them, they do need to be fully covered. This works like this one right here. The head of the dahlia is like, or the crown of the dahlia is like right here. So it's like barely even covered. And so technically it'll be fine, it'll be safe, but best practice is to get it fully covered. If I wanted to take cuttings from my dahlias, I could take cuttings from them, and you leave the neck and the eyes exposed a little bit, and once they start sprouting, you take cuttings from them. I did it in another video, and you can root them very, very easily. This is a fat tuber. Chunky boy. Little Miss Fifi. Trying to find one that has really good eyes to give you guys a really good example of these. And I had potted up some dahlias a couple weeks ago, I think more than a month ago at this point, and my dahlias look so gorgeous already. I'm so ready to get them in the ground. I'm very, very close to getting all my dahlias in the ground. So these ones will just get a slight head start basically. The other ones are going to be producing flowers in absolutely no time, which is really, really exciting. So you can see right here, these are the eyes of the dahlias that have started to sprout a little bit, and that's the main component that your dahlia has to have as an eye, because that's where the new growth is going to come from. So if your dahlias don't have those, they won't sprout at all. So this is one that's a little bit further along, but sometimes they look just like that, and even that one's a little bit further along, but they look like little teeny tiny lumps, and that's coming from your tuber, which like this one has a neck, and it's a teeny tiny neck, and this is the body. So body, neck, eyes right here. So it's got to have all those components, but sometimes they are hard to spot. So this just gives you a closer look of what the eyes should look like, and sometimes you can barely even see the neck on them. And the last one is the more place. And that is it. That is it for dahlias and seed starting and Coleus topiary. And now we're gonna go pop these guys into the landscape. I'm ready to get these ones in the ground. The double oriental lilies, they're gonna be so gorgeous when they bloom. I'm very, very excited to get these ones in the ground. I think that they are so beautiful. I love lilies. We have some that are black and they're really, really gorgeous. Before we go over there, I wanna show you guys what they look like. They kind of look like a little bit of garlic. So you can see this one actually has already started to sprout a little bit. So these guys are super ready to get in the ground. So you can see here's their roots right here. This is what the bulbs look like. They look like garlic. And then they've got these beautiful sprouts. And so these are going to produce the most beautiful lilies ever. So I've got a pack of 3 of these. I paid $13.99 for these guys, and they're all starting to sprout. So these are definitely ready to get into the ground. Look at this. This one has some nice green on the top. These are so ready to get in the ground. So we're gonna go just pop these. I'm gonna pop them pretty close to each other. I'll probably give these guys maybe 12-inch spacing at most, maybe like a 10-inch spacing. I'll pop them in the ground maybe about like that. 3 bulbs. These ones want full sun. They'll get about 3 feet tall. So we should get blooms from these guys sometime in July. So July through August, these should bloom. They bloom one set of big blooms, a quick little flush of them, and that's kind of it for them. And then they'll die back to the ground, and they should start to naturalize in my garden. I'm in, like I said, growing zone 9A, so these do come back for me every single year. Full sun, plant them about 6 inches deep. These are about 2 inches, so rule of thumb with pretty much planting most things is, you know, twice. So this one is, we're gonna go 6 inches, so we're gonna go 3 times the depth on these. And full sun area, and these are gonna be so stunning in the garden when they get to bloom. Let's go get them planted. Are you coming over here? So this is probably going to be one of the most full sun areas that I have in the garden, is this front bed. We just created this bed, and this is going to be full sun right here. And so I think planting them in this bed is probably going to be my best option, and it's going to add some good height. So I've got some scabiosa right here, and I'm going to plant them directly behind it. And what I'm wanting in this bed is to have lots of heights, shapes, colors, textures. And so I've got some purple here. Now I'm gonna add some pink into this bed. I wanna add blacks, I wanna add blues, I wanna add whites, I wanna add reds, I wanna add every color into this. I want this to be just like a painter's palette full of color. And so I think that these will be a beautiful height to add. And so we're gonna just kind of pop these into the ground here into a triangle shape. And then hopefully these can start to naturalize and just like kind of take over this one little corner of this bed. So we'll just pop these in the ground really quickly. So I'm not gonna go in with any fertilizer because this is all really, really good, brand new, yummy fertilizer. And so I really don't need to fertilize anything right now. So this bed, I'm really not doing a whole lot of fertilizer in it. Just because I don't want to overfeed anything. And like I said, this is all brand new, yummy compost in this bed. So let's get these guys planted because it's gonna take me about 2.5 seconds. Okay, with those planted, I think that is going to be it for this video. I put a brick kind of surrounding them, so I've got a bulb here, and a bulb here, and I put this brick here so that way I can remember that I've got some bulbs there. Otherwise, when I start getting all of my annuals and things in, I'm going to forget. So this is my marker until I find an actual proper marker, so that way I can remember what I put in this bed. I kind of wish that I had bought more than 1 pack of these, but I can always order more online. So it would have been fun to do drift here, a drift there, a drift over that way, a drift that way, kind of start having things be more cohesive around the garden. I want to go for cottagey with slight touches of formality in my garden. That's kind of what I'm going for, is cottagey, formal adjacent. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you to Bootstrap Farmer for sponsoring it, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye guys.